Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter. Overslept, undercaffeinated, and both of us just counting the days until Update 3.0 hits. You're listening to the Third Fleet Podcast. Rurikhan, you are on the polar opposite, and it's very late for you, but how are you doing, my friend?
I am also extremely underslept, very much sleep deprived. It's been an insane week. My son is sick. It's just all kinds of crazy, catastrophic events are coming to pass, but we're gonna pull through. We're gonna soldier through, and yeah, we're gonna have ourselves a good show.
Well, I do hope he gets better. That's having a sick child is never a fun thing because as a parent, it just kills you. You're just like,
Yeah,
I would if I could just take the sickness from you and you'd be okay, you would do it. But unfortunately, what ends up happening is they get sick, they remain sick, and then right as they get better, they give it to you, and it's supercharged. So
I actually
I
think
know
I
that's
already
rough.
got whatever he had, and I've already beaten it because my immune system is doped up on ibuprofen. Because the second I feel any symptoms, I just dope myself up on ibuprofen instantly. I douse
It's
myself
it's
in
it's
it.
it's the gun lance usage.
Yeah, straight up.
You got your shields up.
My shields are always up; they're never down. My friggin' you actually have my white blood cells just like running around with gun lances full bursting every single like virus that tries to get in here. It's just not happening.
Oh man.
This past weekend, something really cool happened that is not necessarily Monster Hunter related, but I kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit, which is
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 14 had their fan fest. It was the first fan fest that I watched. I didn't watch the whole thing because it's like 20 hours.
It's long, yeah.
I'm just like, no, I'm not watching this whole thing, but it was amazing. It was just this celebration of like everything that the fans kind of like care about. And they're just like, okay, here you go. Here's everything that you wanted to hear about, everything you wanted us to talk about. And then they even embraced memes. It was crazy. I was blown away. You watched a little bit of it in my live stream as well.
Yeah, I watched a little bit and there's been a lot of obviously clips and just thoughts and everything online and it just seems like they absolutely nailed it out of the park because everyone was just I don't even know the right word, but just blown away by it.
Yeah.
So it looks like it was the ultimate fan service.
It is that celebration. Just like I never realized what it was. I've heard about the fan fest before, but I hadn't watched them, and I was like, "This is friggin' outstanding." It was surprising for me to hear that like their lead musical composer was actually battling cancer, which I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
And while he was battling cancer, he just tells the game director, "Don't tell the team, and keep giving me work." So that I can do something because I don't want to sit in a hospital doing nothing for 6 months. So while suffering from the friggin' chemotherapy and all of this stuff, he just composed one of the greatest songs in the game, which was "To the Edge." It's so good. I was like, Jesus Christ, what the hell? And yeah, and
Yeah,
he's currently in remission, which was really really good. I'm super happy that Soken is in remission. I was like, Jesus, awesome.
yeah, and then I know you could really obviously if you've seen the videos, but
Yeah.
obviously Yoshi P is very fond of him and that was a nice moment. But just good news that he's in remission.
Yoshi P, who, by the way, for those of you that are not aware, was one of the key figures in the Behemoth collaboration in Monster Hunter World. And he was actually present during the unveiling of Behemoth right alongside the Monster Hunter
Yeah.
team. He fought Behemoth. I don't remember which weapon he used, though. I forget. Damn it. Was it a greatsword? I think it might have been a
I
greatsword.
don't
I'm not sure.
I don't remember, but I know him and Yozo are friends, and
Yeah.
so they're like, we got to do something. So which is why they really went out of their way to make one heck of a collaboration. I thought it was cool. It's right up there with the Witcher one. The Witcher collaboration.
Witcher.
I
Yeah.
also very much. I thought that was done really well.
Very much so. It was pretty amazing. But yeah, just one more thing that I would like to mention for anyone that plays 14. There's a clip of Soken doing his interpretation of the Lahi music. So this is a music where it's got these vocals going Lahi. It's got like a lot of vocals like this. And Soken doesn't have that vocal range. So so he basically goes in there with a musical instrument that I had never heard of before. It's called the
Oh, I
automaton.
saw that.
The automaton, is
Wait,
that what it's called?
is that the Otomon he was using? The
Yeah,
little,
yeah, 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 that thing.
yeah.
So he goes in there and he starts screaming at the top of his voice, like cracking all over the place. And he's just like, Lahi! It's amazing. It was like one of the best things that came out of that show. I made like a reaction video to it and everything. It was so good. I loved it.
I didn't realize it was so long though. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's 20 hours. It was insane. Like so many different things that they showcase. But yeah, like if you're into 14 at all, you should check out at least some of the highlights of those live streams because they're friggin' amazing. But back on topic, let's get us back into Monster Hunter Rise. So
I
we are
feel the tingling in the air. Yes. We're where we were like a month ago. We're just tingling, going. I bet you next week they're gonna do a direct and they're gonna give us the information and they're gonna drop the update in a few days afterwards. It's gonna be great.
They're
And
gonna do the
just
thing.
all excited. Yeah, yeah, it's coming, right? It's like I want to make sure I don't get hit by a car this week. You know, I'm eager. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So we're kind of in that position once again. We're just waiting for the next update. There's still stuff that I am doing in game, and I'm sure that there's still stuff that you're doing in game. I mean, just it was this weekend, right, that we played together this Saturday? Because God, time flies by so fast. This Saturday we actually got together. I mean, got together. Very relative term. Got together online, and we actually played for a while with Yuna. That was friggin' amazing. I had a blast with that. We even did PvP. Did you guys know that there's PvP in Monster Hunter Rise?
Yeah, I was like, because I saw clips of other people doing it, so it wasn't my idea. But I was like, hey, let's go to the training area. Because you were showing me off Gunlands.
Yeah.
And then Yuna was trying it. I was trying it, and you were showing off your aerial skills. And I was like, hey guys, come on up here. And I got you guys up on the rope. And I'm like, try to knock each other off. And I was at a good vantage point. We realized quickly that you can't knock off a gun lance. You just stand there and guard. It doesn't work. Then it's like, oh wait, we can't have flinch free. You know, take off all your armor.
Yeah.
That was really funny. And then I think 80% of the wins were the other person doing a skill and knocking themselves off.
That was so much fun. I actually thought that it was amazing that one of the times I actually landed a wyvern fire on Yuna and she didn't fall off the rope. She just went straight back and just like got back. I was like, what the hell? It's like, it's hard enough having to land a wyvern fire. I landed and she doesn't fall. What do you mean? That's not fair. But yeah,
we had some really good hunts. That was a good night. I just spotted you online. I'm like, oh my God, we got to play.
Yeah.
So,
it's
was
like,
really fun.
It's one of those things you definitely, the game is amazing if you play it solo, but playing in multiplayer, particularly with friends, and if you're on voice comms and whatnot, it just makes the whole thing so much better, which is why like it really sucks that we're still going through a pandemic, because this is the perfect like social game to just get together with your friends in the same room and play it. And I haven't been getting together like I used to do. Every weekend I would go to like my friend's place and we would play games and whatnot. And I haven't been able to do that because of the pandemic. It's been insane. It's been driving me crazy. So yeah. But what have you been working on in Rise right now? Like what is your current objective, so to speak, in the game?
So I've been dilly-dallying. I think the number one goal I had, which Yuna is not doing because she thinks that in the long run I'm going to regret it, but I'm still crafting decorations.
All of them?
My goal, my goal, and I have to count it today, but I'm probably only maybe 7 decorations away from having everything.
Jesus
and I mean, like,
Christ.
if it's a level 5, I have 5 of it. If it's level 3, I got 3 of it. Like, everything, everything. The very last one I get will be Jump Master, of course. Not wasting my lazarite on that yet.
What a piece of crap. The freaking
But I kind of just realized that, I love the idea of having that grocery list of things to hunt. I've been really enjoying doing lots of mixed sets. And I'm just telling myself, we'll get probably some final form weapons and some really interesting things in the next update. So it would be really nice if I could immediately jump into testing and messing around with sets because
Because you have all the
people ask me,
decorations.
yeah, what do you recommend for this weapon? I'm like, I don't know because we don't have all the weapons. And heck, I don't even know. Maybe update 3.0 won't have them all either. I have no idea, but it'll be enough, I think, or it should be, that I can really start making my, so to say, end game sets, which I've been doing a lot of. I've been playing Gunlance,
So
which I don't know if
that's
I
like
mentioned.
that's like the
That's the new
best thing.
revelation.
That's the best thing that ever happened. You even tweeted about it, about how like you actually have more fun with the gun lance this time around than with the lance.
Yes, I will admit it. I've tried out at this point now like wide, long, and normal, and I'm really liking normal.
Yeah.
So the Ragnar Kadaki gun lance is like it's so good.
Rock Nikadaki is friggin'
Um,
amazing. How's the set that we worked on been treating you?
it's been treating me really good, and I really, really, really like. I'm getting much better. I think the key for that one is understanding the distance that you travel during the
The blast dash?
cutter. What is it? Not the blast dash.
Are you using hail
That
cutter?
other.
Oh no, ground
No,
splitter.
no. Yeah, ground splitter. Because
Yeah,
once
yeah,
you
yeah.
understand, it reminds me of the greatsword and like that one move where you jump forward and you do a strong charge. It's sort of like that. Because once you get that down, oh my gosh, like going through monster roars and buffing yourself up and then just
Yep.
looping like crazy. I was having problems at first with after you do a full burst, accidentally doing the worm stake cannon, which I'm not a fan of using actually. I most of the hunts I'm not even using it that much. But I trying to press X and A at the same time so that you can go into like a slap, so then you can do a quick reload afterwards.
It's not X and A,
It
it's
took a while
X.
for me.
It's just X. That's probably why you're
It's
doing
just-
worm stakes by mistake.
Ah,
Yeah, the wide sweep is just an X, but yeah.
after full burst.
Yeah, after full burst, you press X, you do a wide sweep.
Well, that'll be because I've been pressing X and A. It's like, oh
That'll fix your worm stake problem right up. No more issues.
my god.
But
Blast dash. Yeah, the blast took me. It was hard at first because you're just flying so fast.
Yep.
And so far. But then when you realize that you can stop it anytime you want,
by shelling.
then yeah, no, you can stop
You-
it anytime
you can
by
slam.
just pressing.
Yeah, you can
yeah.
slam, but here's the thing. You can give yourself time by stopping yourself midair through shelling.
Yeah, I should start doing that as well. But it's interesting to know that even though I think the move is really fun, I don't use it a lot like you do.
Yeah.
Maybe because I'm just not that good at it. But you don't have to.
No, you
But it's
don't.
really.
The way
it's
that
really
I
good
the
for
way that
just-
I play is just not the optimal way to play. I told you this already.
Yeah. But it's I've been having a lot of fun, and I just love like guard up on everything. And so like me and Yuna is still obsessed with fighting Narwa. It's so funny because we both have an obsession now where we've had a long day, we're stressed out, we just want to unwind. So she's in her room fighting Narwa for some reason. She has over 400 now of all the materials. She's got over 30 thunder orbs, which she keeps in her item pouch for good luck apparently. And I've been enjoying doing single player 7-star rampages. And to me now it's therapeutic. I actually enjoy just going in there and doing 7-star rampages solo, which is hilarious, I guess.
Yeah.
It takes me about 11 minutes or so to finish like a Diablos or an Apex Rathalos. So 11 minutes is a pretty good time, I think, for solo. Sometimes it goes up to like 12 minutes or 13 minutes, but I don't care. I'm just having fun and goofing around and testing a lot of stuff because it's been in the back of my mind to make a rampage guide like soon, I hope. But the thing is, I'm still playing so hardcore and playing a lot with Yuna that
Yep.
I really have not had time. So I finished my Switch Axe tutorial, which I was happy about. And then it sucks because everyone tells me they didn't get the notification for it. But
That's
it's a
that's
passion project.
YouTube. That's YouTube for you though. It's like unless you're uploading every single day, like the notifications they go away after. And this is one of the things that's going to happen for my channel as well. Because like I said, I'm going to be taking it easy for the next couple of days, and is like once that happens, I know that whenever I put up the next video, it's going to be a struggle to get back into the notifications again. But you just gotta take it easy at some point. Otherwise, you're gonna completely explode. Because I can barely think
Yeah.
nowadays. I'm just always thinking about, okay, what's the next Monster Hunter video I'm doing? Let's go.
Yeah, but I mean, we're still hunting strong. Yuna will reach HR 200 today. She's at like 198, so that's good. It's a good achievement for her. I'm at something like HR 260 almost now.
Yeah, you're
I think
higher
it's
than
just
me.
because of yeah, it's just the rampages. They're probably buffing it up that I've been doing
The
because I've done like 65 rampages, I think.
I know that G rank Rupeku because they're doing the race to rank 999 because that's a thing
Oh yeah,
that they enjoy doing, right? And so they posted this the amount of hunter rank gains that you get, and apparently Apex Diablos gives you the most of everything. And so, like, if you're
yeah.
running 7 stars Apex Diablo, that's gonna give you a bunch. And since that's your favorite monster, I imagine you ran him quite a bit. So that's
Oh
to be
yeah, I was looking. I was
expected.
like, how many Apex Twisted Horns do I have? Oh, I have like 54. Okay, it's. I'm ready for the.
How many hours do you have of gameplay? Do you know?
I think it's somewhere around 350, 360. I think.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a
I'm like
lot.
past 500.
Oh my god. And then yesterday, I'm finding so many ways to keep myself busy with stupid things to do. Like yesterday, I spent probably hours messing around with poison weapons.
They seem
Because
weak, right? Or is that just me?
see, that's the thing. So like, there's been a few videos here in Japan, with people talking about, hey, don't sleep on the poison. It's actually pretty good. And I'm like, really? So I started looking into it some more, and it's really interesting because the gauges that they show you in the game, like how like when you go to the status screen and you can see like how many bars or whatever.
Yeah.
Unlike things like stun, which is just a little bit hard to tell what like how many hits, how many. There's not a number, which I wish there was. With the poison, it says total damage, and from the bar gauge of how long they'll remain poisoned. So like one bar in that thing is 15 seconds, 2 bars is 20 seconds, 25, and then 35 seconds, which is shell only. And the thing is the Camelio skill will double the time. It just says in the game it extends the duration that they're poisoned, but it actually doubles it. So if you're talking about a monster with like 2 gauge weakness, like a 1 star to poison or a 2 star, take the 20 seconds, double to 40, that's 560 damage because it's 14 every second. It's a tick for high rank. And so when you're thinking like, oh, and this is the big thing that's something they realized, and I did not realize. In older games, I guess I wasn't aware of this, but you can build up poison while the monster is poisoned, and you couldn't do that in some of the more recent games. It worked sort of like KO,
Hmm.
where you can't build up KO while the monster's KO'd and stuff like that. You can build up poison in this game as the monster is poisoned. So when you're using a weapon like the dual blades and you're hitting the monster furiously, they are pretty much poisoned the entire hunt. Because once they're done being poisoned, they immediately get poisoned again. And so if you start doing the math, you're like, wait a second. If I can get a monster poisoned for like a total of 5 minutes, that's 4,200 damage. That's not something to laugh at. That's actually really good. So I just been, messing around. It's obviously not optimal. It's not meta, but it's not, it looks really small because it's only 14 damage a second. But when you start mixing it in with Chameleos, it starts into being pretty good actually. So I was just having fun with that.
Yeah,
I was a little, yeah.
I tested the Chameleos insect glaive because I wanted to be like, okay, I'm going to do an insect glaive. It's going to be all about poison. So I tested that and I put Chameleos set, but I was just disappointed because it just seemed like the hunts were taking way longer than if I did literally anything else. And I was like,
Yeah.
I guess it's one of those things that it's good if you have it on top of a good weapon, But if you have a
But it's
weapon
not. He
that's
can't be the main one.
yeah, if your main thing is poison and the weapon doesn't, come up with good raw, which I don't think that the Chameleos Insect Glaive's raw is that great. If
Yeah.
that is not the case, then you're kind of like screwed. You need to have the poison on top of something else. Poison can't be the thing, which is what I wanted.
Yeah.
And
So the
it was a really fun build though, because I also brought the bug that has like paralysis and poison thing. So I would have tons and tons of poison. I would instantly poison just about anything. But ultimately the damage just wasn't there. So it's like, well, I can keep him poisoned the whole time, but poison takes a long time to kill anything. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, so I think this is more about looking forward to update 3.0 because they're like, for example, the dual blades actually, if you have just one level of handicraft, they get white sharpness. And I've been so used to playing with protective polish now that for me, it's like, okay, I'm all good with this. So they're not that bad. They're not nearly as good as obviously something like Magnamalo's blades or anything like that. But there's some weapons in the Chameleos tree that have like, how like there's like name of the weapon and like a 1 or a 2 or whatever. Well, there's some weapons with a 1 in it, which makes it seem like the Elder Dragons are probably going to get a final upgrade in 3.0 or the future. So it actually says, the fact that they're not that bad, they're just lacking in raw. If they're going to get another upgrade, it could push them into viable, like pretty fun territory. So it's more, I guess, and then the rampage weapons as well. It's pretty low poison, but for dual blades, you can manage to make it work.
Yeah, because dual
But
blades hit so friggin' much.
I guess I'm just finding ways to make more rampage weapons. I think I have like 6 rampage bow 5s. I have like 6 dual blade rampage 5s. I've got like 3 hunting horn 5s. The rest of the weapons I feel are just they're not there yet for rampage.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping 3.0 adds in stuff like, for gunlands, if they had the ability to have level 5 for normal, long.
Oh my God.
That would make them very viable,
That would be so good. I would be super happy if they did that. I would basically just like craft so many gun lances if they. I just be like, well, let's go do a bunch of rampages and craft like 6, 7 different gun lances for me to play around with. That'd be instantly the thing that I would do. Because yeah, right now the thing about it is it only has shelling level 4, and on top of it, the rest of the modifiers, I'm just like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I crafted one because there's no good long shelling dragon gun lance, but even that, I haven't really been using it all that much. But yeah, that's
Yuna is super excited she's hoping that the Ibushi weapons get an upgrade. Which I can actually talk about Ibushi and Narwa now. I've now lifted my I waited probably too long, but I was just trying to be considerate.
No, I think it was a good amount of time. Like we did one spoiler cast, and I think at this point most people have done it. Like we're coming up on the 2-month mark, right? 2 months.
Yeah, it's been long enough, and now Capcom is officially showing plushes of the monsters, and it's fine.
Yeah.
But she loves the Ibushi weapons. The only problem is that her number one wish is that for update 3.0 that we get a quest against Ibushi outside of our rampage, because that thing does not like to give you orbs.
Hey, we got an orb last time. I told you this is 100% guaranteed.
And she wants to craft so many Ibushi stuff because she just loves the designs, and she made a really good build for the Ibushi greatsword. And she's been using that to smack around Narwa.
Yeah. I mean, Ibushi's weapons are pretty good. The Ibushi is the one that's got like long blue, right? And you can get it into white pretty easily, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my we'll talk more about this specifically, but our hopes and fears and everything for update 3.0, but my guess, looking at the trajectory they've been doing with everyone looks at the rampage weapons and outside of bow and they're all like, "Nah." But I'm telling you, if you looked at the way that they've been doing the sharpness modifiers up until now, the Rampage 5s right now have 3 options for sharpness. And the third one is basically Ibushi. It's just nice long blue. It would not surprise me if the Rampage 6 weapons get sharpness 4 and the Type 4 is like Nargacuga Tigrix, like natural white. A little bit, but natural white with good raw. If they do that, that is going to open the door to so many different types of, I guess, sets and configurations. That would be exciting.
It's weird though because they would also nerf your raw for that because they nerf your raw for that third sharpness option. They take out like 10 damage or something.
Yeah, but there are already the rampage weapons are hitting up like 200 now. If they start going up to like 210, 220, and it nerfs it down, having 200, 210 with white and a bunch of other customizational stuff, you can make that work maybe.
Yeah.
Depending on the weapon. Some weapons, I don't think they'll ever be that interesting. Like Insect Glaive, if they don't have like at least level 7 or 8 on the Kinsect, I don't want to touch it. So
yeah, because then the Kinsect feels a little bit weak. Does the level affect buff duration? It doesn't, right? Buff duration is still the same.
It doesn't affect that, but there's still so much to test in this game. I've been more than any of the past Monster Hunter games. I'm just playing it, and I'm not actually.
You're not actually testing.
I'm trying to just. Yes, I'm trying to enjoy myself, and in the meantime, I have probably 3 pages of notes on Rampage stuff, so I can make a guide one of these days. But I want to make it very easy to understand, but I also want to be very thorough, and so trying to calculate and figure out all these, like how many points do you get for every single objective? What's the bare minimum you need to do to get this? It's like I've been just stealing time here and there to try to work on it.
The worst part about all that is that how easy rampages are. And it's like, here's this. It's like, you're spending like effort? Hours and hours on this guide for Rampage. And then it's like,
just go in there and
you can almost AFK a friggin' I think actually someone has made a video where they just do the Rampage with just the Defenders or something like that.
Yeah, that was Takie. Takie is a great Japanese YouTuber, and he's been doing some, like, he did a video, can you kill a monster using only poison? He's been doing all these really fun ones, and he did that where he's like, can we win with all I'm going to do? He said it was a no violence run, I think it was.
No violence.
So he set up villagers, but he did nothing else. He didn't touch the monsters, and he was able to
win the Rampage. Yep. I am somehow not surprised. But I know that there's probably a lot of people right now in Monster Hunter, particularly people that don't play too many different weapons, right? People that focus on maybe like 1 or 2 weapons. There's probably a lot of them that are wondering, well, what should I be doing now? Because I killed all the things, I completed all the quests, did all the stuff. And I had a couple of things that I would advise people to do. One of the things is craft some decos. This is a really good time to craft decorations and farm decorations. Maybe don't go as far as Gaijin is going, which is he's crafting everything. I'm not doing that. The way that I do it is like, hey, I want to make a new build. Oh, I need this decoration. I'm going to go get it.
Let's go hunt, yeah.
So it's like craft some decos now is the perfect time. Just like think about the future. Like, oh, I'm probably going to want to have 3 Master's Touch or 3 Razor Sharp or 3 tenderizers. At some point, you might need 3 tenderizers, 3 critical boosts at least. So you should get those things out of the way so that when the new content comes, you're not like, oh man, now I need like a tenderizer. No, I need. So look for your most used skills and try crafting those decos, get those out of the way. The other thing is obviously layered armor. I mean, layered armor is just a no-brainer. See which armors you like, craft those. I actually crafted the one from Arena, it's called
the Brigade?
The Brigade set, because I've been doing so many arenas. I actually completed the arena thing to get the carving helmet.
Oh man, I feel your pain. I did it as well. Congrats.
It was not painful. That's the thing. Because like the way that I did it was I would be hunting and then I would, in between every other hunt, I'd go in there and I'd do an arena. Yeah, so it's like grinding arenas is a bad idea. Like you don't want to do that. So I did that. And something that is not for everyone. This is one of those things that I don't think is smart to do, but I wanted to do it. I crafted my entire weapon tree, all of them, to the final stage. So all of the gun lances, every gun lance in the game, I have all of them in the final stage. Even the ones that you feel like are incomplete, because like there are some of them that are stuck at like rarity 4. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'll
Make
craft
'em.
this one too. I've made everything.
Nice.
And the most obvious one is try new weapons. Like if you're
Yeah.
struggling for something that, oh, I did all the things that I want to do with my weapons, it's a good time to try out a new weapon. Maybe you'll find out a weapon that you like. Like, I definitely loved the switch axe when I played it. I liked the hammer. But then again, I already knew that I liked hammers, But something that I thought was really fun is I really enjoyed hunting horn. Hunting horn this time around feels so great. And I know that there's a lot of hunting horn mains out there that like miss the older combos of the hunting horn, and I almost wish there was an option for that. But there's the option for what's it called? Not performance. It is
Echo.
yeah, it's something echo, melody mode echo. Yeah, that's what it's called, melody mode
Yeah.
echo. It's still not the same because it's one note and then you have the thing. But it's better
So
than
now
nothing.
I'm just waiting for chat. They're gonna leave messages saying, "Oh, so take your advice, and it's time that Rurikhan plays bow and longswords." And
I played longsword.
and
I made my
he did.
longsword guide. Yes, but I've already stated I'm
It's
not
bow
gonna
time,
be
baby.
doing bows or light bow guns. I actually wanted to ask you, when are you doing bows and light bow guns so that I can aim people that ask me about that? Go check out Gaijin's video.
I feel so bad because I'm still committed and I'm still planning on making a ton of videos this year on the game and tutorials. I'm just gonna be late because I've just been and as I told people, I'm allowing myself to really enjoy this game with Yuna. She's not burning out at all. We're playing daily. So it's like, well, if we're still botting and playing, then that's got to take number one priority. But I'm getting in a lot of weapon usage with a lot of
Yeah.
different weapons. So when I do get around to it, I will have lots of context and experience with the weapon, which is going to be really good.
Just make sure
Yeah.
to start with the ranged weapons because those are the ones I don't have. And I'm not going to. And the reasoning behind it is because I feel like it's not like the move sets for ranged weapons are complex. Like I could, explain the basics of the move sets for the bow, the light bow gun, and the heavy bow gun in like
Yeah.
less than 10 minutes for each of these weapons, whereas most of the melee weapons like 30 minutes, 40, 50. So it's like I could explain the moves of the weapon really, really fast. The problem is I don't think that's the important part about the ranged weapons. The important thing about the ranged
people want
weapons,
to know the difference.
you need to understand is
Why
the
is Pierce 1
ammunition.
better than Pierce 2? And
Yeah.
what's the difference between 2 and 3? And how do I know when I
Exactly.
should charge a shot? And that's a lot of work.
And that's exactly the things that I wouldn't necessarily mind learning them, but the thing is I would be learning them specifically only to do the guide and then never touch it again. And then it's like one patch would show up and it would just disable a lot of all of the study that I did. So it's like the ammunition thing has always been something that I've sucked at. I suck at ammunition types, I usually just liked friggin' elemental ammo back in World, so.
Yeah, I'm also paranoid because with updates, they've changed some ammo values before.
Yep. Like they
In
nerfed
updates, and
they nerfed the crap out of slicing in World, and nobody used it after that. Like just like we're gonna nerf slicing, they nerfed it, and it's like okay, nobody's using slicing anymore. Then everybody went to stickies.
Yes, I have no idea what they might do to those things, but yeah, I don't know what my next one is going to be. I'm just having so much fun playing, and I was going to add into that list of yours of things to do. It's actually okay to take a break.
Yeah.
I think that's worth mentioning. Like every Monster Hunter, this is a topic that comes up ever since I started playing the game, which is especially with base games. Like a base game comes out, you play for several hundred hours. If you play more than one weapon, maybe you got 100, 150, I don't know, with a single weapon, and you're feeling kind of like, okay, well, I kind of don't know what I want to do, and I feel like I'm just forcing myself to play. If you try to do that too much, you start to feel like, oh, this game does not have content, or it's not serving me content. When really the problem is that you're full. You went to a buffet, you just stuffed your face, you're full. Why don't you take a break, enjoy some other games? There's lots of good stuff in the back catalogs these days. Come back later. I mean, for example, like you'll have a better experience actually because like I've been grinding decorations. I only have like 3 options when it comes to getting lazurite jewels, or 4.
Yep.
Update 3.0, I'm sure is going to bring more options. So you'll have more variety and more things to do when you want to go crazy to farm for stuff. So it's okay to take a break.
I wanted to ask
It's
you
definitely
something. I'm not sure if you noticed this or not, but since update 2.0, they actually changed the recipes on some of the jewels you could craft before to include lazurite.
did they?
I think they did. I was going to ask you if you noticed
Yeesh.
it because here's the thing, right? There was definitely stuff that I had crafted. Like I think razor sharp is one of them. Which I had crafted razor sharp decos before because I've used them before 2.0. I know this for a fact. And I'm pretty sure if you go and check out razor sharp decos now, they require lazurite. And they didn't require it before. It's like, it could just be something in my head because of the sleep deprivation and whatnot, but I'm pretty sure one of these days I logged in and I was like, wait a minute, I've crafted this gem before. It didn't need lazurite. What the hell is this? So I think they changed some of that stuff. But
The endless hunt for lazurite. Yes.
but on
Just so you guys know, because I've put in so much time hunting the apexes outside of Rampage, it actually doesn't matter which one. They pay out the same.
yeah.
Like Arzuros, Rathian, or
Mizu.
Mizutsune, you can get everywhere from 0, which I've had happen, like literally 0 lazurite from either of those 3, or you can get up to like 7 or so.
Yeah,
So it's kind of
I've
random.
gotten 7 as well. Yeah, it's pretty friggin' crazy.
It's random, but those are your go-tos if you want to farm some lazurite. So my assumption is that update 3.0 will add in Apex, Rathalos, and Diablos outside of Rampages, and I cannot wait
Oh,
to get Diablos alone.
you want to know something interesting as well about Apex monsters? So what I was trying to do with the last couple of weapon guides that I did was I would do the weapon guide, and then the day after I would release like a build video for that weapon. So what monster do you think I fought in my longsword build video?
An Apex monster.
Oh yes.
I'm gonna have to guess Mizutsune.
Oh yes. I beat
Oh yeah,
Mizutsune with the friggin' longsword. That was
Mizutsune.
it was a good
That's
test. It was a good test. It's like, hey
it's
man, if you want to make sure that this build is good, you put this guy that has no experience with longsword and he just goes and beats Apex Mizu. There you go. That's how I know the build's good.
you're like Yuna. She tries a new weapon and she does it against something that's really hard and just like ah, it's birth by fire, so to say.
Yeah, pretty much. But I wanted to touch up on something that you mentioned earlier, which is the whole thing about people eventually playing so much of Monster Hunter that they burn out and they think that the game has no content. What I find interesting is like you then get comparisons to. I mean, I got some comparisons back in the World days where people would say, you know, oh, I thought this game was going to replace my Destiny addiction or something like that. And the interesting thing is that, in my opinion, I don't think that Destiny had more content than Monster Hunter World. The difference is they gate the content away from you, whereas Monster Hunter doesn't. Monster Hunter does not gate content. So, like, when you compare it to live service games that actually gate the content from you. So like there's only a certain number of things that you can do every week. There's only a certain number of things that you can do every day. So everything is gated towards you in a certain way that you're limited in the amount of things that you can acquire and how fast you can progress through the game. Because these live service games do that, people have gotten used to seeing that as content. It's like, that's not content. That's them taking content away from you because they don't let you play more than a certain amount of time. Whereas in Monster Hunter, it's like, hey, man, you want to grind the whole game nonstop? You can do it. And some people do it. And then they're like, there's no content. It's like, yeah, you did it all.
That's why I always fight back, so to say, when people say that it's Monster Hunter has transitioned to more of a game as a live service. I'm like, no, it hasn't.
No, it hasn't. Yeah.
I was like, they're giving you free updates, but that's just icing on the cake. If you want to go and finish everything in 2 days on a weekend with your friends, you could. Like, it's not holding you back, like you said. So, also it's a base game, and a lot of people don't have experiences with base games. I know World had the Tempered, and I'll give World that it had more of, I guess, if you wanted to challenge yourself, it had some harder hunts that you could do
Yeah.
to keep yourself busy. So there's some points there. I'll give World, but it's okay to just not stuff your face all the time. But yeah,
Yeah.
trying new weapons is a great way to open your eyes to new stuff to do.
And different switch skills. Like someone actually commented on, I think it was in the longsword guide. There were, because I basically said, you can do more damage with soaring kick as opposed to doing Sakura slash, and that's pretty much the case. I'm pretty sure in 99% of the cases, if not even 100%, you can usually deal more damage with soaring kick. But someone told me, oh, but the Sakura slash actually hits more, so potentially on an elemental build, you could potentially deal more damage. And I was actually like, oh, that's a good point. So I went and I did that. I actually tested that. That's stuff that I will instantly go and I'll try to test out. So I tried that. I don't remember which weapon I used, but I think it was Kushala's. I used Kushala's longsword because it's got a lot of ice. And I just put +5
Yeah.
ice, and I just made a build that was all about dealing elemental damage. It's like, no, it still doesn't even compare. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but
they
it's
do
an
need to
interesting
buff elemental.
exercise. Yeah, it's an interesting exercise to try out. And yeah, I agree. We definitely need buffs on elemental because right now I think from the melee weapons at least, I don't know what the ranged weapons are looking like, but from the melee weapons, I think literally the only weapon that elemental is even worth using as like a main source of damage is dual blades, right?
Yeah, all they have to do, I mean, they should do more, but all they have to do is buff critical element as a skill. If they can do that, it'll start making things. As right now, it's like a paltry like 15% or something. I can't remember. It's not a
It's
lot.
it's it's really bad. Yeah, it's really bad. I did the elemental builds that I wanted to do, and I included critical element. People instantly told me like that you shouldn't do that. That's bad. You can literally put anything else in there and do better than critical element. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, but for fast hitting weapons, element is still really good. Bows are great. Dual blades are great. Insect glaives are decent. But Monster Hunter Raw has always been king.
What
So to say.
about if instead of they should definitely fix critical element or remove it from the game, one of those two, because critical element right now is not really doing much. But what about if instead just buffing critical element, they would actually increase elemental hit zones in monsters?
Hmm. Yeah, they've never done that before. That would be interesting.
I think that would be the way to go, actually. Just increase the elemental hit zones. And it's like, don't make element be like the strongest thing ever, right? Don't overcompensate, but at least make it compete in some monsters or in some matchups. Have it actually compete with raw. Whereas right now, it's just like everything is raw, 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 raw. Element is fine if you can get it on top of a really good raw weapon, but other than that, element is kind of like, who cares?
Yeah, kind of a shame.
Yeah, I
But
just really wish that
I
was
was
the thing. I always
I was gonna
liked
say
elemental.
I just had a funny thought actually. We were talking about like the running out of things to do. Like if you want a game that literally had the opposite issue, which is there's too much stuff to make, go play Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate.
Gee,
That
yeah.
that is a game that has too much because I loved what they did and I really wish they would do this in Rise, which is they had that ability to upgrade every single weapon to a final form.
Yep.
Of course, that didn't happen obviously until G rank or master rank, but like you could take those little like Puke Arzuros weapons, whatever. You can make them end game weapons. There was like hundreds of end game weapons for every single thing. So I'm hoping I have a lot of hopes for Monster Hunter Rise Ultimate, so to say, when I am assuming they will
Yeah.
come out with it. I think it's a base game. They're still laying the groundwork. So, but it's actually kind of good because we're learning what works and what doesn't. We're learning what's too powerful and what's not powerful enough, which means they know they've got a checklist now. I think they know what they need to do for the Ultimate Edition to make it the perfect game. So, well, not the perfect game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this brings us on to like what I think is going to be the main topic of today's podcast, and that is what to expect for 3.0. And I think obviously one of the things that we're going to be getting this is pretty much confirmed. And It's not like a speculation, but you're going to be getting the ending of the story,
Woo.
which is
So you know what me and Unit decided when they do their like announcement. This might actually hurt our podcast in a way because this is the first time you're hearing this. When they do the announcement event, which I'm guessing is next week,
mhm.
and they say, okay, update 3.0 hits like blah blah blah. 24 hours before that update hits, we're going offline.
That's the way
I
to
don't know if
do
I
it.
can do it, but we are going to completely shut ourselves off. We're going to no Twitter, no Discord, no YouTube. We are going to listen to Apple Music only, and we're just going to talk and act like people in the 1970s or something. Like we're not gonna, we are not going to go online at all. And then what we'll do is when the update comes, we'll experience it. Obviously, it'll be great, and then we'll be back online.
Yeah.
But we're going to give ourselves a media blackout for a few days. And I recommend anybody else who cares deeply about it to do it. So you won't hear me complaining about spoilers. I've said my piece. I've said how I feel about that kind of stuff. But the world is what it is, and I accept that. And so I'll do what I should do, which is log off. And
Yeah,
we are so excited to see the ending of the story.
yeah, I would actually recommend that as well because it is going to be one of those things where people start playing and they're going to just like instantly start tweeting stuff as it is happening, which is to be expected because people are excited and they're passionate about
Yeah.
the game, and so it's not like necessarily a bad thing, but it kind of sucks for people that they have to go to their job and whatever, they don't get to play it like the second it comes out, and then if they happen to pop on a feed or something or see a retweet for someone, it's like no. So yeah,
Yeah. I mean, we don't often have ending, so to say, like usually the endings in Monster Hunter, at least in my perception, are kind of like random. Like, oh look, it's like you're going this whole hunt in Iceborne, and you're like, oh, we're going after Velkhana, and then like suddenly they just say, oh look, there's Ishvalda, and you're like, where the
Shada
hell did that
Ishvalda.
come from?
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, it's like that has nothing to do with this story. Like, what the hell?
No, it was the
Um,
song. It was the song. It was all about the song.
uh, no, that was Somnicanth singing in the frost.
Oh, yes, Somnicanth. She was the
Yeah.
thing is she hid behind Camellia, so she was invisible.
I don't know. I just always feel that the last bosses feel just kind of like suddenly like, oh, we're just going to swip the spotlight really fast over to something new. With this time, we have kind of a history. We've had enough time with the last bosses that I'm really excited to see. Like to me, I think they were literally just introductions. Like it's
Yeah.
like when you met Gore Magala on the boat in Monster Hunter 4. I think this was just an introduction.
I
Like we
think
got to see them, we got to dance a little with them. I cannot wait to see what they can really do.
I think it would be interesting as an introduction quest before the actual final boss, because we know that the final boss is going to be something that originates from Narwa and Ibushi, potentially their offspring or something like that. We know that that is going to be what the actual final boss of Rise is going to be, and so with
Maybe
with
they go
Narwa and
Apex.
Ibushi,
Who knows,
what
right?
what I was thinking is that what if before that final event you would actually have a fight where you would fight Narwa and Ibushi at the same time, except not literally at the same time, both of them at the same time, because I think it would be too chaotic.
No.
unless
I
you
want
would
them.
nerf
I want them at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, but
Me and Unit.
but the idea
It'd be
would
crazy.
be like, so you would fight, say for instance, Narwa, but then Narwa would swap and maybe she would empower Ibushi or something, and they would swap and Narwa would go away and she would still like keep sending like her AoE stuff, but you're fighting Ibushi at the same time, right? And then it's like they swap again, and now Narwa comes down and you fight Narwa the same way that you usually would, except now you got the wind attacks from Ibushi coming while you're fighting Narwa. I think that would be an interesting fight where they're constantly swapping and whatnot. And you could have like maybe something dynamic, like if you break apart, then something changes in the fight. That's one of the things that I think would be really, really cool to experience, is just fighting both of them at the same time somehow. I still want them on their individual hunts. I mean, we'd already have Narwa.
Yeah.
I still want Ibushi outside of a rampage. As a matter of fact, anything that we fight in a rampage, I also want to fight it outside of a rampage. Literally anything.
Oh yeah, for sure. So it makes me a little scared actually about with update 3.0 is I'm kind of worried about what they're going to do because they haven't announced an update 4.0 yet.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of curious. Like the cadence that they've been doing is monster debuts in Rampage, and then an update it becomes free, and so forth, right? So we can expect Apex, Rathalos, and Diablos to come into free hunts starting next update. So going off of the speculation video that I made and then other people have noticed as well, is there is that mural in the back of the training hall,
Mm-hmm.
which shows all the Apex monsters like in a row, like chronologically. I'm assuming you've seen this.
I've seen the mural, but I couldn't really see it very well because I did it during a live stream and I have these lights in front of me and it's really dark in the mural. So the contrast, I was like, I can't make out what the hell is in there.
Because if like, I made a video on it, but like the first one you see is like a great Izuchi, and I think that what they were trying to do is show you the major threats from the Rampage, and then you get Arzuros, Rathian, Mizutsune, Rathalos, Diablos. Like there's no, at this point, it's pretty obvious this is an Apex wall
Yeah.
because these are only the Apex monsters. And on the far right, there's a Zenogre.
Ooh.
So it's like there's probably going to be an Apex Zenogre, which is exciting.
Damn.
But like, so maybe that'll be Rampage exclusive for 3.0, and maybe they'll announce a 4.0. I don't know. So we can fight it outside. That'd be fun.
Yeah, but I don't expect them to just go like, oh yeah, at the end of the month, every month, here's like boom, boom, boom. Unless they prepare the game.
Yeah, that's too much.
Unless they prepare the game specifically like that and they have an ungodly amount of monsters that they already made and they're just going to be dumping them out at the end of every month. But I think that's too much to expect. I expect
it's too much. And plus, we got Stories 2 coming up soon. So
Yeah,
like they're
exactly.
going to have to
They don't want to compete.
give that game. Yeah, they want to give that game room to breathe.
Yeah.
So I don't know
So
what they're going to do, but I have really high hopes for 3.0 actually.
yeah, I think 3.0 is going to be very, very massive. Before we get to the rest of 3.0 though, there was a note that I put in here. What did you think about the events that we've done so far?
I'm going to be honest, I'm disappointed so far with the events. For the fact of one, there's too few of them. One event a week is great, don't get me wrong, but like there's so many other event quests that they could make. Like
Yeah.
we have a quest with 2 Diablos, right? It's great. Why don't we have a quest with 2 Tigrex? Why don't we have a 2 quest with 2 Magnum? Like multiple monster quests, huntathons, just variety, you know? Like
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about special rewards, but just give us a little bit more variety in the quest things. Give me 3 Kuluyakus or something, you know? Like give me an arena with multiples, because if you want to grind, they could be very fun, and they could make them harder than normal quests if they want to make sure that they balance it. But there's just not much of there's not a lot of event quests. There's only like 3 right now.
Yeah, there's
So-
three event quests, and
I want more.
I'm also a little bit disappointed in terms of the rewards. Cause like, okay, it's cool, and I think it's cool that we got the stickers, and
Gestures and stickers, yeah.
the stickers was cool, and we got the gesture, and the last one gave us what, a title? It was
Yeah,
a title,
some titles,
and it
I
was
think.
and it was like a low rank quest. I just took my friggin' high rank gear set in there, and I just destroyed that quest. It's disgusting. Like,
It's just a little weird though, right? Because
Yeah.
the mobile titles in the past always had a bunch of event quests, so I don't know why they've reduced it by so much.
yeah, it's very weird.
If I can criticize the game, that'll be one of the areas,
like-
I think.
You know that by this time, World had like the Street Fighter outfit. You could make Ryu in the game. So it's like, this is the kind of crazy stuff that we would want from events. They've teased like some kind of sunglasses that you'll be able to get. So I don't know when that is coming, but at some point we'll be able to get some special sunglasses. But still, it's like, you know, I
That
figured
stuff
that
needs
by
to
now.
come sooner than later.
Yeah. I figured that by now we'd have more events. So there's definitely a bit of a dry spell when it comes to the events. And I also wanted just stuff to help people with farming. Like everybody's complaining about purple orbs. Okay, just make, like you said, a
Yeah.
quest with 2 Magnum Aloes, extra chance for purple orbs. Boom, go.
Yeah. Or make
There you
a
go.
quest with a Magnum Aloe in which they've messed with the quest modifier, and it's really
Yeah.
hard. But the quest rewards has a much higher chance of giving you a purple orb. Like that's the things they've always done.
Kind of like
I don't know
the
why
stuff that
they're
they
not
did
doing
for Utsuchi's challenges. The Utsuchi challenge quests, the monsters are actually harder in those quests, which is cool, but there's only 3 of them. Like more.
Yeah, give us more.
We just need
More.
I hope that with 3.0 we'd see more of that, because like I also want to just have more quests to kind of like check off the list. Just give me more quests. Just,
Yeah.
don't even need to bring new monsters like with some of these minor quests. Just put more monsters, put them in interesting situations, put monsters in different places, like do an Almudron in the Frost Islands or something. I don't know. Get tired of always fighting Almudron in the flooded forest, because that's always where you fight them, unless you're doing like the village quests in which you can find them in the Shrine Ruins or something like that.
Yeah. It's just unfortunate because I think, like I'm understanding that it's a really tough situation for anybody right now in the world, period, let alone having to work in a situation during pandemics and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's the type of content that they could do without as much labor as adding in like new monsters and doing stuff like that. Like just tweaking some quest values and and stuff like that could be a way for them to fill out the content without having to overdo it. So I'm a little disappointed that they didn't do that.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I've been wondering is, where are the collabs? There's no
The what?
collabs. The collabs.
Yeah. So I have some theories on that, but it's disappointing to say the least. My theory only is that with all the past collaborations that they've done here in Japan, like on the 3DS games, they were almost always tied to some physical event or something that was going on for the other franchise. So there was kind of like a win-win. Like Monster Hunter got its content, but the other IP that they were featuring also got a win as well. Like, there was a new game coming out, or there was an event going on or something.
And right now there's
just
nothing
not a
coming.
lot.
There's not a whole lot
Yeah,
coming
like,
out. Yeah.
The pandemic has really made it hard for everybody. So there's very little incentives, I think, for corporations to say, yeah, let's sell our IP out and let Capcom do this. And we're, because in order to plan out collaboration stuff, if they wanted to make gear and stuff, that would have had to happen months ago, or half a year ago, because it takes time. That was at the height of the pandemic. So like people weren't even going to the offices, some companies. So it's like, it just seems like it was just unfortunate timing, right? But
Yeah.
like even Nintendo collaborations are missing, which is suspect. I mean, normally you would have Mario and Luigi costumes for the cats or something, right?
Yeah, like
Nothing.
that. Those are some of the obvious things that I have a list here of like some of the very obvious collabs that you could instantly do. I don't think Nintendo would be opposed to this, particularly because of how much Nintendo has actually put in a significant push with marketing as well for Monster Hunter Rise, at least from what I can see from socials and whatnot, and even just from my experience speaking with Nintendo people in Portugal, they are making they did make a bit of a marketing push ahead of Rise's release, even a special console, even right, the special edition for Monster Hunter Rise. So it's like. Super easy one, Super Mario, Luigi, like you just said. Another super easy one, Zelda. Right? Like, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild, amazing success. Breath of the Wild 2 is kind of like probably not too far off. So, boom, that's another super easy one. Metroid, bring out Samus, give her a gun lance. Boom, perfect. I'll take it. I'll craft Samus's gun lance. even if it's shelling level 3, just give me a Samus gun lance. I'll make it work. Xenoblade, which is something that I would love, dude. I would kill for a Xenoblade collab, dude.
But we already have a Xenoblade Switch Axe in the game.
No,
Oh
don't,
wait, that's Almudron.
No. Don't do Minato dirty like that. It's like, I just really think that Xenoblade is potentially one of the most underrated franchises on the Switch. Like, I still think that there's so many people that have no idea what Xenoblade is. Such an amazing game. Another easy one is like Fire Emblem. There's just so many collabs. And then we have something a little bit more exotic.
Capcom stuff.
we also have Capcom stuff. Naturally, you got Street Fighter, you got Devil May Cry,
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil, which we just had Resident Evil 8. So there's a lot of potential there as well. But like I wanted to grab one that's a little bit more out there. And that is, hey, you know that recently Yoko Taro made this post about Monster Hunter Story. Can I get a 2B outfit? Males get 9S. I mean, it's super easy. Look, males get 9S, females get 2B, and it's even something that they like. It's a long sword. It's a long sword. Everybody loves long swords, right? It's like that.
They would have to change the rating on the game, right? In some countries.
Oh, right. I didn't even think about that. I mean, just give her a longer skirt. It's fine. Well, actually, no, they wouldn't have to. Did you remember what was those pants that you showed me last time? It was Naruto's pants without a belt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they don't have to change no rating. They have Naruto's pants without. You guys know what we're talking about? Like, create a female character, put some Naruto pants on her, and then hide the belt. Yeah, it's yeah. Real sexy stuff.
It's like a Sports Illustrated cover.
Yeah. Yeah, and
but yeah, they did it with World, they did it with Ice, they did it with everything except for this one. I just have to think that it's pandemic, but just looking at the way development goes, generally that stuff would take a year before release date in order to create, pitching, and do. And that was at the height of right when the pandemic was starting. So I think they just got screwed by everything.
yeah,
Because, so, maybe they, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt this time and say it's disappointing for me. And I think the timing is off, especially for internal stuff, but they were also dealing with other stuff as well.
yeah.
But they'll have to, if they make the Ultimate Edition, they've got to.
They gotta bring that stuff. Yeah.
They got to bring that stuff because it's a glaring omission that would be very fun.
And another one that I was thinking about is, hey, we're getting a new expansion, Final Fantasy 14. You've collabed in the past with Monster Hunter World.
Yeah,
I think that'd be pretty cool as well. Like, give us something from 14 and give them something. I think did Yoshi P said that he liked the. No, I might be just imagining this now. I seem to remember someone said something about the final boss is Naru and Ibushi for 14. Like, that would be interesting. I think someone said because they have the dragons from Heaven's Word, which are also they have the elongated snake-like dragon, which is traditionally from Chinese, I think, right? Or is it also Japanese? It's also Japanese, right? The long dragon, like Shenron even, and Dragon Ball, whatnot. So yeah, the Asian looking dragons, and they could have fights like that in 14, and we could get one of the other dragons because they have like a bunch of them in Final Fantasy, and we'll take whatever. Give us Midgar Zomer, that works. I don't care. Yeah, it would be cool to have another one of those Final Fantasy collabs because the last one was really, 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 really good. So yeah. Now
I guess I'm setting myself up not to be overly disappointed in that. I'm with you 100% that I want it, but I don't think we're getting it just because they would have said something by now, right? We would have had something. I think we should read the writing on the wall, which is times are tough, and this game's going to be a little bit more limited.
Maybe next week, man. Maybe next week.
I don't know. I don't want. I don't want to hype myself up and get disappointed. I just don't.
Yeah, I know. It's better to err on the side of caution.
Give me a fantastic final boss. Give me another awesome monster. Give me some more quest variation in some of the stuff, and I'll be pretty happy.
Speaking about monsters, what returning monsters do you expect for 3.0?
Well, there's one monster I
expect is different, right? Expect is different from want.
Yeah, so
because the want is the next one.
Yeah, because the expectation, and this actually, I don't even know if the same thing happens in English. But in Japanese, when you read all the scrolls from like how you find like the messages that tell the tale of
Oh
like
my God,
things
I
that
still
happened in the
haven't
past.
collected those. See, that's something that you guys can go and do as well. Collect the relics.
Yeah, so maybe I
I
shouldn't even
haven't
talk
done
about
those.
this because maybe it's nothing, and maybe it actually is a hint, and I don't want to spoil that for somebody. So if like I don't know, should we talk about that or not? I don't even know because I could it could be nothing. I
I
have
mean,
no idea, but
I
the,
don't think it's a big deal at this point. Anyone who wants to collect the relics will have done it by now. I haven't
yeah,
done. And if you really care, then just skip ahead
you're
like
probably not
five
listening to
minutes.
this podcast. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like the thing is like there's how they use specific like kanji and Chinese characters to nickname the dragons and the wyverns and stuff in the game. There's a very specific character that is very iconic for Valstrax, and they use it when they talk about the disaster that happened in the Sandy Plains. They talk about how there was a monster or something from the sky that came and destroyed everything. There's this whole tale about it. It does not sound at all like Ibushi and Narwa, and in Japanese they specifically use a kanji that's associated with Valstrax, and so that got me like. That's another one. I hope I'm not disappointing myself because I
Is
like
it the Crimson
I we,
Comet or something like that? Is that the meaning of the
yeah,
kanji?
something like that. Yeah, something like that. And so when I saw that, it's like, wait a second, are they? No, don't do that to me because if they
Dude,
don't add them, I'll be so
Valstrax.
disappointed because I would love Val. You kidding me?
Dude,
Oh my
I'd love their
god!
interpretation of Valstrax, considering some of the stuff that they've done with some of the other monsters, like for instance the improvements that they did to Teostra. I would love to see Valstrax get the Rise treatment. I think
Oh,
that'd be amazing.
exactly. With the
Not to mention,
oh,
if you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense because right now our hunters are really powerful with wirebugs to the point where I would argue the monsters haven't even caught up with how powerful we are right now with wirebugs and a proper build.
if any
Valstrax,
monster could, if any monster
Valstrax would
could,
even the
that's the
odds.
boy.
Dude, Valstrax. Oh my
So if
god.
Valstrike does come back, one, it would be awesome because man, his gear and his outfits are awesome. Like
Yep.
I would craft everything, and I would also hope that it would be a hard as hell fight. Like they just dial it up, like way up, and just say, yeah, if you didn't use your heavy armor spheres, you're dead.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Bring on the
you don't have
challenge.
dragon defense 20, you're dead.
Dude.
Like,
The big attack. For those of you that never fought Valstrax, there's this attack that he does. I love it. I friggin' love it. Where basically he just takes off. When he takes off, by the way, deals AoE damage, like slaps you with a bunch of dragon. Takes off, and you actually see him like flying in the sky like a jet, like circling around. And then suddenly he just starts coming down right on you, like right in your face. Boom! Like
yeah,
it's
boom.
beautiful. I love that attack.
And then you get the sonic boom, so you get the ringing and the BGM. Everything goes out, and like
Yeah.
it's just this huge explosion. It's so cool.
Actually, you even see the sonic boom if you look up, right? And she's like, it really
Yeah,
just like speeds up, dude.
it's the coolest thing ever. So
Valstrax is amazing. First time I fought Valstrax, I was like, dude, what is this monster? This is amazing. Definitely one of
not
the
to
best fights in
mention,
that game.
not to mention, if they did bring Valstrax back, that also, I mean, I know people don't like to talk about skeletons and everything, but like that would set the groundwork for maybe this game or the next one for Gore Magala
See,
because it
that's the
uses the
thing.
same skeleton.
I'm expecting Gore Magala. I think they're going to bring Gore Magala.
That'd be
Potentially even
awesome
in the
because
next
Gore
update.
Magala, especially in the West, is like
Yeah.
super adored.
Because if you think about it, they also the Gore Magala was in the Monster Hunter movie, and I know that you didn't like.
I was gonna say, don't mention that.
Don't talk about that. We don't talk about. I still haven't watched it, by the way, because I can't find like an online service to watch it on. So whatever.
You're doing it right.
I have to watch it at some point. But yeah, so I'm thinking Gore Magala's potential, and I'm like
Oh, that'd be
99% sure we're getting. I have to spell it right now because Super Rad said he wouldn't be friends with anyone that didn't say this right. Lagiacrus. I have to say it Lagiacrus, otherwise Super Rad won't be my friend anymore.
Lagiarucurus. Yeah.
It's so weird because I've always said Logi. I've always said
But this
Lagiacrus.
they've never officially pronounced it in anything, so it could be whatever you want.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Lagiacrus is definitely. I'm like 99% sure we're getting Lagiacrus. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. And I
Yeah,
also
Laggy and Gore are like the two top. Like, if they wanted to give that, if we're talking about what things people want
yep.
and things that they've kind of set up the stage, like we could add it. I think those are the top two on the list right there.
Gore and Lagiacrus. I'd be so down if they announced those two. I'm basically going to be spending the entire live stream screaming in awe. It's like, Gore, Lagiacrus, yay! But I also expect them to actually bring some new monsters. Like that's something that I'm also super hyped about. Like actually new monsters for Rise. That's another thing that I really want. So we'll see if we get that or not. And at the same time, now that we've played it, which is the one monster that you would actually want more than anything? I'll tell you mine while we wait. If I
See,
could,
my problem is most of my desires would be for the ultimate edition. Like they would not work for high rank. So it's like, thinking about it now is way premature. Like,
yeah, but
the
that's
fact
fine.
that they can do translucency now, right, with the Chameleos. So I fully expect to see Lucent Narga Kuga to come back in the expansion. They've got to bring Lucent Narga back. If it's not back, I will be very sad.
But is that the one that you would want? I'll tell you which one I want more than
you go first. Yeah.
more than anything. Daran Moran. It still is all the way since that first. Now that I've played the game even more, I'm just like, dude, I'm all about that Daran Moran. Bring him back, preferably with the Caravaneer as well, because I love the Caravanier's outfit. If I could craft that, that'd be cool too. I like his hat more than Roggy's. Roggy's hat covers my face with the bandit mask, and I don't want that. I just want a hat.
Oh man, I don't know. There's most of the stuff I want would be end game for Ultimate. So for like
Okay,
base
so
Rise,
pick one, and just pretend that it could be in high rank.
Molten Tiger.
Ooh, that's the big one, right? I've never fought that one. He's a big boy, right?
Oh my god, he is huge. He starts out like Grandpa. He's like really slow, and then as he starts getting his engines going, he becomes just totally unmanageable. He's running around. His roar reaches half the arena. All his attacks do blast damage. Like it's like Teostra with like the blast dust.
Maybe
So much fun.
he'll be more considerate than Teostra, and maybe he'll have a gun lance. Because Teostra is an inconsiderate prick. Never gave me a gun lance. I'm just like, dude, come on. Yeah, there's no gun lance for Teostra. I was like, dude, I love the Teostra weapons, and I don't get a gun lance. It's like, what the hell? I mean, you can even just use the same model as the heavy bowgun. It's basically a cannon. So there you go. Boom, done. Problem solved. But yeah, for me, it'd be the Ren, but Molten Tigrex also sounds great. Because again, like you said, it's a monster that speeds up. That is very important because we need monsters that are faster because we're too fast right now. I still feel like we're too fast, and there's very few monsters that can keep up with us at all because of the wire bugs. Maybe some of the newer players, I don't know. And
Seregios would be a fun one actually as well because
Sergio,
he's in the air, actually. He's fast, he can mess you up with his talons and stuff. Like they give him a little buff, he'd be pretty fun.
Pinecone Steve, I hated fighting him in GU.
Also, I think it would also help if we had bleeding. If you had monsters with bleeding, and if you do like a wire fall, you take massive damage or something. Like that would really change the rhythm of the hunt.
Well, Steve has that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We need Cyanotors in here. We need the Cyanotors that give you the
crabs.
Bleed. Yeah, the crabs. Bring crabs. That's right. We didn't get any of the crabs. Aw.
Yeah. Like I said, I have such dreams and hopes for the expansion because they've really laid such a good groundwork here.
Yep.
Oh man.
So, like we said at the start of this show, we're kind of just like super super pumped about what's coming next, right? So there's not too much to talk about at this point. But for our final topic, what do you think the focus is going to be for the end game?
Well,
Like
first, let's define what we believe the focus was on each version, because I've noticed that some people don't necessarily feel the same.
the
But I
focus
feel
on each
like,
version. So for 1.0, I think the focus was basically just the Hunter rank 7. Like that was it. There's not
yeah,
much else to it. It's just like craft mechs. And here's the thing though. I do think some people have brought this to my attention that the way that they've done this, despite the fact that obviously we know it's because of the pandemic and all of that stuff, but the way that they've went about this Monster Hunter, for a lot of people, particularly the people that don't have time to just like, play nonstop and get to the end game as fast as they can, they're actually happier about that because of the fact that it didn't get spoiled for them instantly. Because, everybody just jumps on YouTube, starts spoiling everything left, right, and center. This way, the actual final boss was not spoiled at the very beginning of the game. Even though some people just put
oh,
pictures
that's
of
true. They've had enough. They've had enough time now to catch up to the people who play more
exactly.
regularly, and now we can all experience the last boss together. That's a
Even
good
though
point.
it sucked, because a lot of people, like you pointed out yourself, like Boss Database or whatever it was called, they're just like, here's Narwa, here's Ibushi, just like right on the thumbnail where you can't even look away from it. Here you go. And if for some reason you don't get to play the game as much as we do, then screw you. We don't care, right?
Yeah,
So that stuff got spoiled, but the final boss didn't get spoiled.
it's given people. Yeah, some people may still not have been able to buy the game yet, or they're late, but it's given people a chance, which
Yeah,
is
it's
cool.
it's
That's a
given
good
them a
point.
chance. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, like we were talking about I think that the end game for the first one was just like, get your stuff done, get your weapons, get the skeleton of your build kind of like in order. There wasn't really
Yeah,
like a repeatable thing that you would do with the exception of rampage. Like do a couple of rampages, upgrade your weapons, boom, done. Right? I think
yeah.
that's the focus. Or do you disagree on anything? No?
No, no, I agree with that. And then I think 2.0 to me was all about the decos.
Yeah.
I think like if anything, I would say like the focus of one was get yourself some charms and talismans as you play through the game. Uh, and then I think it really started shifting over to okay, start crafting decorations so you can make some fun sets when it came to update 2.0 because the elder dragons, the apex, the lazarites, that just seems like the focus.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm kind of curious what the focus of 3.0 is going to be,
Yeah, that's
because I don't think they're going to add in new decorations because I can't think of any skills that they're missing outside of. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's some new skills. I don't know.
I think
Um,
I was thinking
I'm
that
expecting final form weapons.
yeah, but I was thinking more in lines of something that competes with tempered monsters.
Mm,
Something that would give us, a similar experience where it's like, hey, all of these monsters that you fought up until now, all of a sudden they're all relevant again because there's, we've had in the past, what was it? We had the old Apex monsters. Now we have the new Apex monsters for Rise. I don't think they're going to Apex everything because
yeah,
I don't think that makes a lot of sense. But I would like to see some kind of like difficulty modifier that would make things hard and it would bring some of the other monsters back up for us to fight them again. Because, like, one of my favorite monsters, I rarely ever fight him anymore, which is, my big green boy. I even forget his name. I fought him so little, I forgot about his name.
Tetranodon.
The Tronodon, yes. Sleep deprivation. And it's 2 a.m. I have an
Yeah, so
excuse.
if they're not doing it through event quests, they should do it through a new rank. Like give us a special rank that gives us all the monsters from high rank, but all with buffed values.
Yeah.
Like, so that they're just harder. I agree. That's something I would definitely want to see. Is just something that buffs them, and all they have to do is give us, like maybe they can have a final upgrade for armor or something, and it takes one true armor sphere or king armor sphere, and the way you get that is by completing those quests. I don't know, just something small.
Yeah.
I think we're just looking I think people are more just looking for the challenge, not as much about the reward.
Because it is one of those things that, like we've discussed, like Village is super easy, Rampages are really easy. So with 3.0, things need to get hard, at least harder. Things to get a little bit
Yeah.
more challenging. Because right now, for instance, when I went to play GU, and even in some of the end fights of World, if I'm going to fight a Fatalis, there's a chance that I'm going to fail. But like,
Well, don't compare master
yeah,
rank stuff to a game with high rank, because we've
yeah,
never had a Monster Hunter game with a high rank content that's like, this is hard as nails. Like even like Monster Hunter 4 never came to the West, right? So like
but I think that
4 didn't.
even
We
in
had the guild
GU,
quest though, so
I think
we had
that
the guild quest though, which offered it.
even in GU there were some high rank quests where I would, I'd go into this quest and I'd be like, gotta bring my A game or I might actually fail this quest. Whereas right now in Rise, I don't think there's a single quest that I'll be like, oh, there's actually a possibility that I will fail this quest. The only failure that might happen is if I'm potentially like, oh, I'm recording a video and I want to make sure that I get this done without carding.
Yeah,
That's the only
it's true
chance
though.
of failure.
Failing the quest is so rare
Yeah.
these days that I actually kind of enjoy it. It's like a nice happy little mistake that happens. It's just funny. Like it wouldn't frustrate me by any means because it never happens.
Yeah. So I think we need a little bit more of that challenge. And
We need that type of quest that they had back in 3 Ultimate with the super bracky. We need super monsters, man.
yeah, harder stuff.
One hit, you're dead.
Did you get hit? You did. That's all there
You
is
did.
to it. But
Wait, why is there 45 minutes on the timer? Because you're gonna need 45 minutes.
so, and the other thing that I was wondering is, do you think that we are going to get Apex Armor with 3.0? Do you think that's a possibility?
I'd say no, just for the fact that we've had Apex monsters already for so long. I just don't.
Because there is that interview.
I've lost my hope. I would love it.
There is that interview where Ichinose specifically says that Apex monsters will bring new armor and new weapons because they ask that. And he says, yes. There's an interview.
I still think that it's a translation thing.
It
I think
might be
he
a
was talking about
translation
the Rampage
thing.
weapons.
Yeah, it might be the Rampage weapons, but, I'm still hoping, like, I think it'd be cool to get Apex armor and even Apex weapons. I think that'd be really cool. To add a little bit more variety, almost like Deviants, basically, like a system similar to Deviants without.
Well, what I want to see is, well, how about this one? Here's a good middle ground without them having to create a whole new weapon tree. What if the final upgrade for the weapons required the Apex parts?
It'd be better than nothing.
Like, yeah, or maybe like even better would be if we had 2 routes. If like you have the Mizutsune weapon and you have one final form that goes one way, and then you have it's like the hyper monster. You got one other one which is like extremely high raw but a little bit less water. That would or the
something,
flip side that would be the Apex
or something
version.
different. Yeah, exactly.
That'd be cool.
Just have something that would differentiate them, or maybe even have like a different ramp up skill, like a special ramp up skill that you could only get with the Apex version. Like that'd be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, things to think about. But we'll know soon for update 3.0. I'm really curious about what they'll do after 3.0 though, because you got Stories 2 coming out so close. Like if they do an update 4.0, I can't imagine it would be until like fall.
Yeah.
So 3.0 has to give us
3.0 has to be meaty, is what we're saying. It's got to be meaty. Lots and lots of meat. It can't be small.
Yeah, so we'll see what they bring, but I'm excited. Nonetheless, I don't see myself stop playing until it comes out because I'm just having fun goofing around and playing. Like there's nothing wrong with just doing hunts because they're fun.
I have no intention of stop playing either. I am probably not. Again, I'm probably not going to be creating too much content until 3.0 comes out because what I would be doing now is builds, and I might put out some gameplay though. Just not really speed running, but some cool stuff. Like I've been practicing Metsu Shoryugeki, and I just posted earlier today like a Twitter
It's
a Twitter
so good, isn't
Twitter
it?
Shoryugeki that I nailed against. Oh, dude, this Gosarag. He was jumping, and so I was able to. You know how when monsters sometimes jump, there's a little bit of a hit in the jump. So I
Yeah.
nailed that, and I hit every single hit on the way up as
Bum,
he
bum,
was
bum,
going.
bum,
It
bum,
was
bum,
so
bum.
good, and I knocked him out. While he was in the air, and I was like, "Oh, that is the best, friggin' awesome!" So yeah, Metsu Shoryugekis, I love those, and yeah, I just love dunking monsters. I guess that stuff's just too fun.
I gotta get into. I gotta play some more. I'm still gonna play more Gunlance this week because I'm really enjoying it. But I do need to also get off my butt and use some Charge Blade. I did Hammer last week. I played a bunch of Hammer, so I'm getting my usage up there. But I've been sleeping on some of the weapons.
Charge Blade, just make sure that you bring 3 Rapid Morph. Gotta bring that Rapid Morph. Weapon's almost unusable without Rapid Morph. And the Evade Extender wouldn't go awry either. The Evade Extender helps.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so I mean,
And one more
tingling with excitement, man, and
one
I'm excited to hear what everyone else thinks is coming.
one more thing about the gun lance. You can play long gun lances just like you play normal. There's almost no damage loss. There's a little bit, and the full burst is exceptional on normal, but it's very little difference from normal to long. And long, you know how when you do Wyvern Fire, you have 3 ticks of damage on normal? You get 4 ticks of damage on long.
Yeah, I maybe it's a caveman brain, but I like seeing that really long list of like, ammo, like on the normal. Like you get like 8 or whatever. Like
You get 7.
I don't even know how many.
You
it
get
is.
7
7.
shells.
I see that and I'm just like, ooh, and I want to unload them all.
Yep. And it is still the most damage, and it's very impressive with the Arachna Lance particularly. It does so much damage with the white sharpness and all that. But still, dude, there's something very satisfying about a Wyvern Fire that hits 4 times instead of 3. It's just oof.
I always forget about it. That's my problem with the Wyvern Fire. I always forget that I have it.
And the good thing, if you haven't been using it, the good thing is that in Rise, it guards while you're doing Wyvern Fire. It's
Yeah.
so good.
You're safe when you do it.
And with that said, you have 3 guards, so you can actually guard most roars and still Wyvern Fire through them. So it's so good. See, guys,
That's crazy.
Gaijin's hooked on gun lance. I did my job. That's it. I can retire now. There we go.
Well, you do know when 3.0 comes out and they bring Apex Diablos into regular hunts, I'm going back to Lance for that one. That is I love Lance and Diablos. It's one of my all-time favorite matchups. So
No. Listen, when you Wyvern Fire,
I want him coming at me.
when you Wyvern Fire and crack both horns at the same time, then you'll know it's true love. The gun lance love. Anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this week. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Next week, depending on when we get the announcement, because obviously we don't want to do a podcast without the announcement releasing, so we might have to delay the podcast. We'll see what happens. But it just wouldn't make sense to do a podcast and then have the event be announced the day after. So we might have to delay the podcast or not, depending on when Capcom decides to go live. So yeah, just letting guys know in case things are a little bit late. Also, this was probably 1 day later than usual. That was my fault. I'm sorry. Anyway.
Oh, come on. You work so hard, you deserve it.
If you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit it up with a like. If you're on Spotify, I don't know what's the equivalent of a like there. I still haven't checked it out because I'm lazy. But yeah, if you didn't enjoy it, hit up with a dislike. If you usually enjoy the content, subscribe, bell notification, all that stuff. We'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe.
And happy hunting.